time I fall off my goals, whether it's been 2 days, 2 weeks, or in this case, 2 months, I don't know why I get nervous, anxious, maybe even a little bit fearful to jump back into it. So if that is you, I'm proud of you because you clicked on this video and a part of you wants to get back into planning too. Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to another plan with me. It is mid-year. Yay! If you feel like you've fallen off your goals or you haven't checked in a while, you're not alone. I've got a couple of months to catch you up on. Let's get back to feeling like ourselves, diving into our planners, and tackling our goals. We're going to do all of the things we normally would for the quarterly reset so that we can get Q3 all set up. Then we'll jump back a couple of months because I know it's been a minute since we've seen each other. And I can recap how my summer's been going so far, what goals I've hit, and what goals I've missed. I'll take you through my Notion dashboard and we can set up for the month ahead. Then, as per usual, we will wrap up with a cozy book tracker where I update my library in Notion and yap a bit about the books that I've been reading. We will also do a bit of content planning, set up the content schedule for August, and round out the summer. Go and grab your gratitude journal, wellness journal, a blank piece of paper, an iPad phone, whatever it is. Let's take some time together to reflect on the last couple of months, and we'll dive into all of the plans. On my iPad, I have Notion and the checklist of all the things I wanted to cover in this video. So that's on standby. Thus far, we've done our journaling and reflection, which included a devotional. So it's called 100 Days of Believing Bigger. I really like it. I did the devotional of the day, and then it gives you space to write and journal. And there is a small prayer at the bottom. So I spent a bit of time getting grounded and recentering myself around the Lord. I did my wellness journal and my gratitude journal. I did the quarterly insert. It felt like a continuation of the journaling. If you remember from the line, I got the quarterly insert. I love it, but I don't know that I would buy it again, if that makes sense. It's got every quarter mapped out. This is 2026 goals. Oops. Show and tell, is got to hold the thing. This is 2026 goals overall. This is Q1, Q2, and Q3. So literally broad strokes by quarter. You can write stuff here, which I love the layout. And then every quarter then has like a, oh man. Okay. Disasters over here. Okay. Every quarter has a list by month. This is January, February, March. I did April, May, June, and these were already done before I even opened up my planner. In June, I was really on top of it, y'all. This is July in retrospect, and then August. We're leaving September blank, which is the last month in Q3. Q4 is entirely blank. Leave a comment down below if you no longer want a paper planner tour, because honestly, the sections of my planner don't change month to month or planning session to planning session. But I do want to shout out the line, not sponsored, because I've been doing this quarterly insert. The reason why I wouldn't get it again is because I feel like it is a bit repetitive. Every month in the planner system that I already have, you can put down your self-care goals and your personal goals. You can put down what media you want to watch. We've been through it before. I like the idea of going through 2026 by quarter, because that's what I do in Notion. I don't need that to this level of detail in my paper planner, but it's so pretty. I'm very, very glad that I gave it a try. So June, we talked about, oh, you guys, I don't know if we ever talked about June. I think I set up for June, but we probably never even talked about, okay, wait, I'm getting a little bit stressed because why am I so far behind? June. Yay. I spent a lot of time building out my novel writing dashboard in Notion. If you want a tour of my writer's sanctuary, you can find that video on my channel. I did a lot of reading and some gaming. I did more gaming in July versus June. We had talked about sensory rest last time, social rest, mental rest. Honestly, these are probably the prettiest spreads that I've ever done. Chore tracker. We're looking real good, y'all. I think I was a little delinquent on checking my mail. I did all of my weekly chores week to week. There were a handful of monthly chores that I ended up postponing. Let's talk about my media map for June. It's not a thing that needs to be done every single time, but for whatever reason, I was feeling it in June and I really wanted to make a media map. On my iPad in June, I played this game called Happy Color, which is like paint by numbers. Then I have a game called Is This Seat Taken, which I love. In terms of pods, baby, this is Kiki. I've been jamming to Lauren Palmer. I love her pod. Good Talk with Amy Poehler, where she interviews other celebrities. I really like those two. Headspace on occasion, and if you count the activations app as a pod, I definitely was using that. On my Switch, my game of choice for June was Pokemon. For socials, Insta, when I go down my 12-hour once a week doom scroll, rabbit hole, black hole, sunken place sort of vibe. I don't really spend a lot of time on Instagram, and I've bricked my phone from my socials. Instagram was really the only social besides YouTube that I used when I have it unbricked, which is normally like a Friday or a Saturday. We do kind of go ham, and then you wake up 6 hours later and you're like, oh my God, this is why I have my socials bricked. And then the Cove, which I talk about every single month. In terms of TV, I found the OG Pokemon. OG, when it first came out, me and my brother would watch it live in real time when we were kids. I found the Ash in Pallet Town, picking Chew, and figuring out his way to getting all the gym back, like OG. I watched a bit of that. I finished Euphoria season 3. I finished Paradise season 2, 3. So good. Sterling K. Brown is such a fantastic actor. Legends of Korra was continuing from May. Maybe I'll pick it back up again for August. I started this K-drama called One Beloved Summer, and it's very, very good. And then I finished Desperate Housewives, the TV show. OG, early 2000s. Would rewatch. It's kind of long. A lot of times I'll keep The Lord of the Rings on in the background. I found the 24/7 channel so I can putz around and have The Lord of the Rings on my TV in the background. Or honestly, it's so good that sometimes I'll just stop whatever I'm doing and sit down. My Studio Ghibli film of June was The Secret World of Arrietty, and it might be my top favorite. I haven't seen all of his films yet, but I just like I can't explain it. It's like one of the most wholesome, quintessential Studio Ghibli, the vibes, the art, the storyline, like it was just so good. If you've never seen The Secret World of Arrietty, would recommend. So that's the media map for June. I filled out the monthly roadmap for June as well. Going on solo dates, continuing to declutter my hobbies. I went to one massage appointment. I spent some time in my AM PM routines, just figuring some things out, experimenting with some things. I was working out in the morning more. I did enjoy tracking when I woke up at 6, 7, or 8 and after, because it's helpful. Helps me keep track of my sleep schedule as well. And any of the days that I had to wake up at 6, 6:15, 6:30, I probably was going to PT. Any of the days I had to wake up at 7, maybe I was going to a doctor's appointment, or I just wanted that to be my standard wake up time. Then you can see all the days that I woke up at 8 a.m. or after. Don't judge me. A companion to the media map. Books that I read: Iron Gold, Pendragon book number 1, and Little Thieves I listened to from Libby on Audible. We talked about the Studio Ghibli film Desperate Housewives, Legends of Korra, Paradise. And I found a 24/7 channel for this cartoon called Baymax. If you've ever seen, I think it's Big Hero 6, maybe it's Pixar, if memory serves. It's so cute. I think there's only like 6 episodes, so that's not a show that I would repeat, but I did watch the entire season and I thought it was so cute. I'm an adult and I really enjoyed it. Would recommend. We talked about Pokemon Sword. I put that I wanted to play Zelda. I just didn't get to it. Things to make. I said content, which was true. Grilling. I can't even tell you if I grilled in June. That's how far away it feels to me. But making new meals, coloring, making new memories. Then we've got the June bingo card, which I showed you last time as well. I got bingo, is the gist. I did a junk journal spread. I gamed. I walked a new trailhead with my friend. I got a massage. I finished a book. I went to Pilates. I hosted my best friend. I had a pool day while she was here. I made a couple of new friends while I was at the pool. And I went to the High Museum for their Juneteenth event. That was really cool. So bingo, 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 all around. I remember when I made this June bingo card, I was feeling very luteal, very down and depressed. And this really this idea came at the right time. I just remember it really lifted my mood and lifted my spirits. So yeah, overall June was good. Per the usual, I did my monthly reflection. So we've got that for June. July recap. Gonna be short because I filled it out now. So that's everything bright orange red. July, I continued the Red Rising saga. I hosted some family, winded down in PT, went back to Pilates once a week. I was really reaching for last month some of my nostalgic comforts. I'm rewatching House MD with Greg Laurie. Sorry, oh my goodness, with Hugh Laurie, who plays Greg House. And it's got Omar Epps in it, and it's pretty epic. So if you've never seen it, it is old school. Like they've got pagers, but it's a comfort show for me. So I'm rewatching that for the 100th time. Revenge, which was on ABC. I just recommended it to a friend because it is very summery, but it's so good. I'm finding a lot of my comfort TV shows and comfort movies from the 2000s, which I don't know what that says about me, but that's what I got into in July. While my family was here, we played Monopoly Deal, the card game. So fun. We played Smash Bros, Mario Party, and Mario Kart because I don't have a lot of gamer friends, especially for Mario Party. I was like, oh, I just want somebody to play with me. My cousins are all under the age of 20, and one of them is under the age of 16. It was really fun just to play a bunch of games games with them and hang out with them. And we went to the aquarium and we went to the safari. So July, I definitely got to explore. July was a month of baseball. And then you can see I normally don't use the monthly spreads, which we talked about last time, but I ended up taking 1/2 because I didn't have plain dotted paper and I didn't feel like going upstairs to get an insert. So I wrote a little bit more about my summer. Very pretty. I'm practicing my handwriting as well. This is the weekly planner for the week of July 20th. Insert like SpongeBob blinking sound effect. Like, why is it blank, Jordan? I didn't plan. We weren't really in our planner in July, but July was fun. It's my birthday month. I had a great time celebrating. I discovered a tailor shop for the first time. Transitioning out of PT is a really big physical milestone, well-being milestone for me. Y'all know I've been going through it this year. So that's really exciting. So that is June and July in review. Let me show you how I set up August. I put, again, from the line, a to-do list placeholder in here because, I don't know, 2 weeks, again, 2 weeks left in the month of August to me. I don't know. Y'all can tell me if it's like, that's a bad attitude to have, but or tell me if you can relate. I just feel like there's no point in tracking a bunch of chores and tracking my hobbies and like doing all that kind of stuff. I don't really feel like there's a point. But it would be nice in the next 2 weeks to figure out what are my must-dos, my to-dos, and then my nice to-dos. And so this one's double-sided. We've got a coloring page. So I was going to move it. I was going to take it out. And then I was like, if that's not the summary, this is summer. Feels like summer, gives summer vibes. My reward for myself for getting back into planning is I'm going to come in here and color this insert. Then I set up the monthly roadmap for August. Yay! You can see that I've got personal goals laid out, self-care goals, habit tracker. I just put a smiley because I don't really feel like I need or want to track my wake up times. But now that I'm talking to y'all, I'm going to do it. Okay, what did we say? 6 a.m.? Am I going to be waking up at 6 a.m.? Probably not, but we'll put it 6 a.m. Wake up. 7 a.m. Wake up to 8 a.m. and beyond, said in my buds in my ear voice. Today is August 13th and I woke up at kind of late. 8 a.m. plus. So we'll put a little X. That might be something now that I'm talking to y'all that I could see myself tracking in the month of August is my wake up times. Books to read. I have like 4 days left until Spotify gives me my 15 audiobook listening hours. Spotify, if you're out there in the universe, I would love to work with you. Please give me more reading hours. I am deep into my Red Rising bag, y'all. I am eating these up for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and second breakfast. I'm obsessed with the series graphic audio version. I recommended it to 2 friends and one literally texted me and was like, hey, I thought of you because I started this on graphic audio and it's so good. You're welcome. Even if you're not an audiobook person, you'll like this one. I promise. Movies and shows to watch. We talked about Revenge and then I'm watching The Testament and simultaneously rewatching The Handmaid's Tale because I forgot everything that happened. Also, tell me why in The Handmaid's Tale, June's daughter looks a little tan. Okay. Her hair is a little curlier. Then when I watch The Testament, the actress is lighter than the kid in The Handmaid's Tale, and her hair is a lot less coily. What happened? Not saying I don't like The Testament, because I'm literally rewatching The Handmaid's Tale. Every scene I see with Hannah, I'm like, it is, as they say, the whitewashing of Hollywood. Things to make, I just said new recipes. And honestly, what I would put here, where's my glitter pen? Is I'm going to say style outfits because y'all know, or actually, if you don't know, I've been very into curating my wardrobe and exploring with clothes and finding my style. So that to me is like things to make. We're going to leave the monthly spread blank. I filled out my weekly planner for this current week. And then whatever extra inserts I have right now, I'm keeping them in the back of the planner because maybe next year I will reuse them. Leave a comment down below if you feel like this too. I feel so bad. Like when I turn to this week and I realize that this is wasted paper, this is a wasted tree. I feel so bad, but I don't feel bad enough to reuse it because I don't know. I don't want to like scratch out all the date. You can come for me. You can come for me. I know it's a bit wasteful. I might think about putting stickers over all the dates and reusing these because it's good paper. There's nothing wrong with the spread. I just didn't get to planning in July. What else is there for August? We talked about the coloring page. Yeah, no, I think that's it. Because I put the rest of August in the weekly spread. And then same deal. When August is over, we'll do the August monthly reflection and we will move into September. Welcome back to the Notion dashboard. Let's get right into it. It's been a minute since I've been in here. I don't know why that makes me feel weird. I don't know. I feel a little nervous, y'all. This, if you remember from the tour, is the full 2026 dashboard. But per the usual, let's do our quarterly goals. When I do this again next year, I think I'm going to do more macro than this. This to me gives every quarter in the year. And so you would think that it's your annual goals, which it is, but also it feels a little too broad for me. Haven't really focused on planning in the last couple of months. I think it's okay to fall off your planning. What's the saying from, is it Batman Begins or The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises, where Bruce's dad is like, why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to get back up. That's how I feel about life in general, even though I hate that because I hate being resilient and always having to bounce back or get back on track. If you're in the same boat as me and it's been a minute since you've been in your planner, digital or otherwise, it's okay. Now is actually the perfect time at mid-year to slash stuff off the list, add stuff to the list. If you were sitting here August 13th, 2026, and you haven't made 2026 annual goals, do it. Let's do it together. Let's focus on Q3, but then here is where I can kind of get that refresh for my annual goal. Q3, I said, was pruning season. We're going to say... Actually, we're not going to say anything because we haven't really started it yet. This is July, August, and September, and July and August are basically done. This heart posture says, Lord, help me release even the good things with grace. If it is your will, you are fruitful. We are making room for more, which, yes, amen to that. So I'm okay with that in the spiritual disciplines. Health and fitness, we said building muscle, improving mobility, and feeling more like myself. I would say we're definitely on track there. This says I honor my body by focusing on non-scale victories. That's the vibe for Q3. But generally speaking, health and fitness for 2026 is a lot around recovery and healing and making progress that has nothing to do with how much I weigh. Finances, I've absolutely been off track all year, if I'm being honest. I know that these things say complete, and I may have done one budget thing one time. But at mid-year, I'm sitting here like, y'all, do I have finances? Because I don't spend time with them at all. For August, or even just to set up for September, I really do need to get back into my budget and saving and stuff like that. Instead of emergency fund, I think I'm just gonna grow my saving. On track. Strengthening my financial foundations for last quarter. These two things make sense. And rebuilding feels like the right stage for me right now. Personal, which I think honestly is really about hobbies, but kind of not. Q3, travel, play, and relax. We're not doing any traveling, my girl. Just gonna say play, relax. Yeah, August and September kind of feel like a ramp up period. Like September is when people typically go back to school, but I also feel like it's probably honestly because I'm on my period, or my period's coming in like 3 days. And so I personally, not just physically, but it's like mentally, I feel myself slowing down. I don't know if this happens to any of y'all when you're like getting close to the start of your menstrual cycle. Like, I love that I'm in here planning and taking the time. I love that you're chilling with me, hanging out. And I also kind of feel like I don't want to do any of this. Like I'm tired. So, fall and I know that like winter is hibernation season, like for life, but I'm kind of feeling like August needs to be hibernation season. Like I feel like I need to be a plant and I need to like sit in the sun and recharge and just like have things pour into me instead of me pouring out. Maybe instead of play and relax, what if we say make room for whimsy and recharge? It feels like my vibe as we move into September and round out Q3 for hobbies. We're gonna say on track. I have been doing a bit of gaming, experiment freely. I think that's fine. I will not be revisiting any wishlist hobbies. But my wishlist hobbies require a little bit of money. I did find an adult dance studio near me, and I've always wanted to learn ballet. That is what I would consider a wishlist hobby, but I ain't got Dance Academy money right now. Let's just say reframe current hobbies in a new way. Instead of gaming solo, gaming with others. Instead of coloring normally, coloring with one color. I'm cool with this if that's going to be the hobbies vibe, and spend intentional time on hobbies 2 times a week. Finally, for YouTube, adjusting my content creation routine on track, and I'm going to change this to hang you with weekly content schedule, because honestly that's the goal. I want to post once a week. So that's the annual overview. Let's do this in real time. I'll try and speed it up where I can, but at least you can see It doesn't take much to set up a new quarterly dashboard. Timing for the filter, we're going to change to Q3. And we can expand these. This is all the same stuff that we just went through in the annual dashboard. You see this upwards arrow with a diagonal. That means this database exists elsewhere, and all I've done is put that same database on a different page. So this is a link to the database that actually exists. Where I've got all of this, it appears the same, and we're on track for everything because we just marked it as on track. Let's take a look at monthly. These are all the things that I had the benefits of doing this in real time. Let's do the board view. Let me just double check my filters too. Doing some Spanish pages or Pimsleur, I didn't do it. Book of the month, I did it. Gaming with my brother, I didn't do it. I'm trying to think if in June I gamed with anybody else, and I don't think that I did. Finance goals, we didn't do it. Pilates, I did it weekly. Did this, graduated from PT in July. This is like the June-July dashboard. Definitely have been decluttering, especially my closet, and donating, and I started a Vinted, y'all. So if you're interested, I don't know how to link my Vinted. I'm not getting paid from YouTube. So if I can get paid to sell my stuff and it goes to somebody who loves it and can get good use out of it, peace. Laundry, am I up on my laundry? No, but we're gonna keep it as complete. I was on my game in June. Cove, cool. Experimenting, cool. Lock in my goals, great. Sunday service, I don't think I went in June. I didn't finish my devotional 21 days of prayer and fasting. I didn't do it. Review and update the planner, we did it. This I did. Post, this I did. I don't think I posted a summer vlog. I think I did post this because I switched to ellipsis. And I explained all the reasons why at this point in time ellipsis is better than Scrivener. So if you're interested, check that out. I did not post my empties tour, and honestly, I kind of want to delete this. Trash. I did not post my journal ecosystem tour. I'm nervous, y'all. I've been watching way too many online, and I just am getting in my head about like comparison. And it's not even that I think my journals are not as good as everybody else's. Like, honestly, I'm pretty proud that I've got like a $1.25 notebook in my journal ecosystem because I don't think that journaling needs to be expensive. But I think all of the videos I've seen so far are so aesthetic and pretty and like comprehensive. And I don't know. I feel like I need to be that way too. And I also kind of feel like thus far this year, I've absolutely been collecting the memorabilia, all the receipts and the coasters and the paper bags and, cutouts. And I've been taking Polaroids and all that kind of stuff. Ephemera is the word I'm thinking of, which I was like, oh, that's like such a big girl word. So I've been like collecting all the ephemera. I've got like an entire file folder in my office full of stuff to put in my junk journal. And yet, tell me why in my actual junk journal, I'm still reflecting on Christmas 2025. Maybe that's why I haven't wanted to post it, because it doesn't feel like authentic or like relatable. What's the point of like going through a journal ecosystem if you don't really use it? But maybe as we kind of move into fall and it gets a little cooler and that kind of stuff, like I'll jump into it and get caught up on my spread. My friend had a great idea. She recommended just like taking some post-its and like planning out maybe 2 more pages for holiday season 2025, and then maybe it's 3 pages for like another topic, so that I can journal about the things that have happened more frequently and put in all of the memorabilia and the ephemera or whatever without kind of feeling like I need to like finish everything. But I know in my brain I want the actual journal to be in chronological order. And that's a me thing. That's a me thing. You can judge me. That was great advice because it'll allow me to, I think, take the pressure off getting a lot of those journal entries done. And I can still journal and get everything in and glue my Polaroids, and it'll be a great time. Let's go to Q3, make sure I'm on the right page and that everything's filtered correctly before I start editing. I'm going to uncheck June. I'll go to the overview, edit properties, month, add April, May, June. So this would be July, actually January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. July's a moot point, so I don't know if I want to keep it in here, but let's just keep it. An homage to the July that we could have had in the planner. Q3 is July, August, and September. So we'll add those as filters. So then as I keep coming back to this month over month, we've got all of the right months and they are organized. July, August, September. Then I can delete April, May, and June because they live in the Q2 dashboard. Spiritual Pods and Affirmations app. I don't think I need a task for it. Daily devotional. I don't know, you guys. It feels so strange
Tell me if you can relate. It feels so strange deleting things related to your faith. Do I think God will be mad at me for deleting all of these things? No. But if I want my faith and God and I want to build on my spiritual disciplines, I want to pray more, I want to be in my devotional, I want to be in the word, like if I say I want to do those things and those things are at the center of my life, why would I delete them from the plan with me? Why would I delete them from the planner? And again, 2 weeks left in August, but September is open. So I think what I might do is delete these. Taxes, we've done already. We've done already. We'll keep the wealth dashboard. These things are actually, let's make this easier on myself. Wherever it says status complete, let's just delete. Let's just delete those. I feel like that makes sense. So there's 50 items on here that are completed. And if I do a quick skim, I have a feeling this is everything that has existed in this database for all time. Now, what makes me a little bit nervous is if I delete all of this, will it literally delete everything? Although I don't want to delete the locking in. So let's like skim it really quick. Let's try. Done. Trash. Now, for my own sanity so I can sleep at night, let's go back to check Q2, go to the overview. April, May, and June are still listed as months. And in the filter, if I do all of them, let's just make sure everything is still here. 50 selected. Okay, so the good news is about copying and pasting, which I think I knew this already. I just needed a confirmation because it's been a minute since I've been in the dashboard, but I copied and pasted this page exactly as it is. And I can make any changes, adds, deletes, whatever in my Q3 page without impacting the Q2 or Q1 pages. Let's go to board view. Easier to delete things in the overview. Maybe we can sort by category and go from there. I want to keep 21 days of prayer and fasting. I don't know that I'm going to get to church in person, and I think that's okay. Updating my ultimate wealth dashboard. We'll keep it. April quarter close. This is a repeat. This is from May. We've got 13 things that I'm going to delete, leaving us with this. Spiritual disciplines. I'm trying to think at the end of August. And again, I know this is for Q3, which means I have until the end of September to do this. But I kind of think I either want to do my devotional daily, like the one I picked for today, and I have a ton to choose from, or I want to finish the 21 days of prayer and fasting. Finance. Not started. We've talked ad nauseum about my finances, my dashboard, etc. If you're new here, I have a video called Ultimate Life Reset, Reset Your Finances. If you're interested in the tools that I use to track and budget and that kind of stuff, check out that video. Although you could argue that I don't really use them because I haven't been in it in a minute, but they work well for me when I do stick to it and when I use it. Anything else for finances doesn't feel like it needs a task or a line item, except I'll keep the budget. Come for me in the comments if you think that's a bad mentality, but I would rather spend my time getting ahead for September than building something for August. Review and update the content planner. We'll do it together. I've got to figure out what my 4 videos are going to be for August. If memory serves, the video that I posted in early August was my Raiders Sanctuary Notion tour. Shout out to whoever left that comment saying that they'd be interested in seeing it. I made that video especially for you. I hope it helps and gives you some inspiration. If any of you are out there working on a creative project and are interested in seeing what my dashboard looks like in Notion, check out that video. This is a perfect example of leave comments, y'all. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what parts of these videos get boring, where I lose your interest, you click off, whatever. Like, all of your feedback is welcome as long as it's respectful. As long as it's respectful. If there's specific content that you want me to make, where I can, I will try and make it for you. There's 2 videos out there on my writing life right now. So if you're a writer, you're an author tube, welcome, let's be friends. I went on 9 solo dates and I ranked them in terms of how anxious they made me. So that video is coming up soon. On track. Let's do the mid-year reset. So what we're filming right now, let's do, I don't know, the 21st. We can throw a random day out there. By the end of August, I'll post whatever this is going to be. It's not that I have a shortage of content, but I don't know right now what that's going to be. And that's okay. Literally, the goal for YouTube is keep on keeping on. For health and fitness, let's change this. Strength training 3 times a week feels like a lot, y'all. It really does. But First week of August, I think I was in the gym 5 days a week. This week thus far, I've done 1 day. I have Pilates this weekend, and then I can go to the gym tomorrow. So 3 feels reasonable. We'll meet myself where I'm at, and I'm going to say on track. What are the health and fitness goals that you have for this year? Because maybe it will inspire me. I'm not a runner. Your girl won't be running nowhere. So you can slash off the 5Ks and the marathons from your suggestions list. Personal, I'm working on the thing as I'm checking off the thing, so we can say complete. I don't need this. I think I put it here because for personal, like planning my life is a thing that I want to do. You know what I mean? I put that there to capture that. But because I'm in here anyway, part of me is thinking I don't really need it. Maybe I could merge personal and cozy hobbies into one thing called personal. But if my channel is Hello Cozy Creative, why is Cozy Hobbies not its own thing? I don't know. I also am sitting here like, I don't know if I want to keep track anymore of all of the home resets. Let's see what's in here. This is done. It's done. This is kind of done. And we're moving through the closet. I'm on index, actually. That's a good update. I really like it so far. I wish that all the things that you got in the paid version you got for free. As I'm cleaning out my closet, it helps me from a shopping perspective. Why do I have 5 turtlenecks that are all different colors and like 2 of them are different shades of green? Like, I don't need that many of the same clothing in my wardrobe because all of that is the same style, same silhouette. Where it's in really good condition, I'm gonna try and sell it on Vinted. Great condition, I'm gonna donate it. If ever you have a pair of athletic shorts and you pull the waistband and it sounds real crunchy, like it sounds like you're walking over pretzels, I believe that is called dry rot, and that's probably something that you should throw in the trash. Maybe I will leave Cozy Hobbies as its own thing because I have so many. Let's get specific for our second hobby. What am I thinking? Gaming is a given, but not. Reading is a given, but not. The reason I'm not going to put book of the month on this anymore is because I have my cozy library tracker. I'm in it quite frequently. I'm reading all the time, so it doesn't really feel like a hobby I need to track per se. In my paper planner, y'all saw I have a hobby tracker. I can always put reading on that if I'm curious how many days in the month or in the quarter I've been reading. Let's delete this and then go to the board view. Hold, please. Okay, sorry. I'm back. When I look at this, it definitely looks a lot less cluttered, crowded as compared to prior months, which I kind of love because again, I'm tired, y'all. Cozy hobbies. If I think about all the hobbies that I have, novel writing, creative writing, writing a book, being an author, reading, which we've covered, gaming, which I'm kind of doing anyway, coloring, I pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. Those are probably the big ones. I was very into gem painting at the top of the year, but then I finished my gem painting. So we removed that from the hobby list, but it was cool because I never done it before and I wanted to try it. I think it turned out really good. There are 6 weeks left in the quarter. What are 1 or 2 hobbies I could maintain, sustain for 6 weeks? I would like to finish page 1 to done. Ideally in 2 weeks, so that in September I can have that fall motivating writing restarting. September feels like a very author-y time of year, a very creative writing time of year. We'll just put September 1. Let's keep this broad. 4 days a week. If I'm focused on reading this book and working on my novel, am I gonna have time for other things? Maybe I'll even do less and say 2 hobbies. That feels better. And I kind of want to change this to end of month too. Okay. That feels a little bit better, right? Finishing this book hopefully in the next 2 weeks and spending time at least once a week for the remainder of August on my hobbies, excluding reading. So Cozy Hobbies looks good. Finances we talked about, updating my dashboard, building my budget, and updating Notion. I hope I can get back into my finance things this season, y'all. Health and fitness, we're focused on strength training. We're not gonna break our backs. Am decluttering, reorganizing a lot of different areas in my home. If I could make some strides on my closet by the end of the year, that would make me very happy. That's probably the largest area that I'm working on. Astronaut, I do want to continue selling stuff on Vinted. So that's for personal, spiritual disciplines. It doesn't sound right unless I say daily devotionals, but I don't do them daily, or not all of them are meant to be done daily. What if I put 100 days of believing bigger? Devotional 3 times a week feels doable. We went through annual goals, quarterly goals, and funneled down to monthly goals. We spent some time talking about August. Let's see. I feel like this is like a tradition to see how many there are. 13! That feels good for 2 weeks to get all this stuff done. Last two things in the run of show is, the content planner and the cozy book tracker. Updating the content planner, let's do it tomorrow because I'm tired, y'all. For you, it'll feel like no time has passed, but for me, I need some beauty sleep. Also, I kind of need a nap. Let's yap about some books. Y'all know the drill. I haven't been in here in a minute, so you might see me doing some cleanup. I'm currently crushing Are You Surprised? Dark Age Part 1 by Pierce Brown, the graphic audio dramatized adaptation. If you haven't read that series, I know I'm late to the game, but I love it. And I'm obsessed. Prodigy, I started to carry me through the next 7 days that I don't have Spotify audiobook listening hours. Spotify, not sponsor, but if y'all ever sponsor me, I need more audiobook listening hours, please. Or if you don't sponsor me, can you just add more hours? The first book, Legend, was recommended to me by Marie Lu. It's a dystopian. There's a tad bit of romance. She tries to put in a couple spicy teens, but they don't really land for me. There is something called a story question. Your character's on an adventure. That adventure could be spending 3 days at their daughter's wedding. It could be sitting in their room alone staring at a wall, but something is happening in the story. There's a story point or question that the narrative has to answer. The book was good to read as a writer. I know what it's like to read a story that has one question or problem that gets solved by the end of the book. In this case, the question is, will June find Day? That's it. I read Legend in June, finished it in mid-June. It took me 11 days. You can see all the books that I read in June and July, and then we'll yap about what my TBR is looking like for August. I read Little Thieves. I finished Iron Gold graphic audio part 1 and part 2. That's a lot because they're at least 15 hours a piece. That's 30 hours plus however long this was, plus however long this was. June must have been my month. There must have been something in the water because I was on my grind on top of everything, and summer happened and I fell off. But June was a really good month for reading. Red Risings are going to get 5 out of 5. And then Little Thieves was pretty good. It wasn't really the story I thought it was going to be, which I know makes no sense, but it's a fantasy. There's a bit of romance with this prefect dude, and Death and Fortune are this girl's adoptive mothers or whatever, but she's like a thief and she pretends to be a princess. I don't know. Read the back of the book. The premise intrigued me enough to read it, and then I read it and I was like, I don't think I've ever read anything like this in my life, or at least not that I can remember. So I give it 4 stars. And then I read the second book, which you'll see in July, and I didn't really like it. She lost me. So when did I start this? So this was top of June. I started, oh my God. Top of June, I started Little Thieves. It took me 16 days to finish. That tracks. Then Iron Gold. I'm going to stop. Unless you explicitly tell me in the comments that you want me to continue yapping always about the Red Rising saga, I'm going to tone it down. I'm going to try to tone it down. So Iron Gold part 1, part 2. I put some notes. So 24 hours of reading just with this saga alone in June. Here are some of my notes. I said, Pierce Brown is such a good writer, which he is, and I would love to sit and chill with him. Go chill, get a coffee, sip a tea, and talk about writing and the craft of writing with this man. He is so good. This says, his writing really stood out to me in Iron Gold, maybe because he has to set up the world 10 years later, elaborate on different, characters, not colors. And this is the first time in the saga where we see multiple POVs. So this must be book 4. And books 1 through 3 are in Darrow, the main character's point of view. At first, I didn't like it. I was like, I don't care about anybody but Darrow, which shows you how strong Pierce Brown is in terms of his character development and making the reader like his characters or root for his characters, even when they're in the wrong. So this was the first book where he introduced multiple POVs, this woman named Lyra, and then this gruffy, tough dude. This says there are a handful of sentences I could predict, like in Fourth Wing. If you guys need all of the things that I did not like about Fourth Wing, I have notes. I didn't like it. Would not recommend. The quote in the book was, "It's trouble today." Oh gosh, you can tell that when I'm reading something and I have notes about it, I literally do this from my phone. It shows. So I guess they were talking about today's trouble, or we're in trouble or something. And then the response to that, the character says it's not permanent. Imagine if we're in a conversation and we're talking about whatever this is. And then you say it's not permanent. And I say, silly Gray, it's always permanent. The it's always permanent sentence, I clocked it right before I read the line in the book. Hopefully that makes sense. He uses a lot of similes and metaphors to the point where it stands out to me enough to notice it. Yeah, no, this is highlighted for a reason. But he's still good. I love them, and also I think there's too many. Examples are, I could feel the yawning distance. That's beautiful turn of phrase. The water tugs at my waist like a bad dance partner. That's incredible. Her face was like tree bark. Fantastic descriptor. Make a deal with the devil and you get hell's resources. I just thought this was like a great sentence. He blanches as if I was holding death in my pocket. These are all examples of their turn of phrase, word choice, or writing styles that I really liked. Her face was like tree bark. Almost everybody that's read this book has seen a tree. Stay with me, okay? So you know what tree bark looks like. Maybe when you were a kid, you had a tree house, or you were climbing trees or falling off of trees. Maybe at one point in time, you leaned against a tree. So you know what that feels like. You know what that looks like. Real wrinkly, right? So to describe somebody's like skin, somebody's face to be tree bark, what does that mean? They kind of old. They don't need Pierce Brown to add many more descriptors about this woman because he's already told me that her face is like tree bark. When he does stuff like that, to me, it feels like he really doesn't waste space on the page. And the saga is already rapidly moving. My heart's racing. I can't sleep. It's already a octane story. I almost feel like him saving the reader time in that kind of a sense, especially when describing things or describing people. It's cool. I think it's a really good skill. When you think about yawning, your mouth is big, it's wide, it's open. Who would have ever thought to use that in a sentence? And not only that, to use it to describe the distance that you feel between you and a person. Imagery there that he evokes is just so strong. My favorite of all time, at least in this book, was the water tugged at. I think Lyra was like saving somebody. The water tugged at my waist like a bad dance partner. I was like, oh my God, like, oh, gut wrenching. I had to like stop, go to my phone and write it down. What image does that evoke in your mind as a reader? Not saying that everybody needs to have had a bad dance partner to resonate with this phrasing, but I know exactly what that's like. You've seen it on TV, right? You've got no control and your dance partner's all over the place and stepping on your toes, and like, to apply that to a scene in which somebody is essentially getting swept into the tide of the ocean and can't fight back. Incredible. Incredible. So I do want to sit down with this man eventually. Maybe I'll manifest it. I just want to sit and listen and pick his brain. There are a lot of similes and metaphors in Iron Gold. Metal goes in, death comes out. She's lean with withered patience. Her hair is short, a cut that looks self-administered. Again, where you're like, this character is quite observant. Have you ever tried to cut your own bangs? I know you have. So you know what that looks like at the end of the day. Or have you ever tried to give yourself a haircut? You know exactly what that looks like. Next one is take a step back or you'll be for the worms. They were describing a big prison boat thing that like sucks up trash. And it says, inside her belly, she holds trash of a fouler sort because there's prisoners in y'all. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake it that hard. I just want to meet this man. This one was very, very, very good writing. Her voice alone is twice the size, or sorry, his voice alone is twice the size of me. Again, fantastic descriptors, turns of phrase, and sentences in his writing that really evoke easy images for the reader. They can resonate. And it's so unique. There is nobody that I've read thus far who writes like him, which is amazing, right? Like he's obviously found his calling and found his purpose. Other stuff I liked in Iron Gold, he does a good job using dialogue and interiority to world build and info dump. Somebody was in a shop buying like a weapon, and Pierce Brown used the dialogue of the shopkeeper to describe this Omnivore 540, which is what the weapon is called, and describe the specs. And so the reader gets to know about the weapons in the world through the description of this specific weapon, but your character is not doing that. A secondary character is doing that. And it's all through dialogue. It's not like, okay, great, like 10 paragraphs of writing to describe what this gun does. It's like a very interactive conversation to get that world building to come across. So he does that really well. Lysander's voice actor in Beanie, I was like, I don't like it. Especially because in previous versions, you hear this character when he's a little bit younger. 30% of the way in, I appreciated that it seemed that the voice actor maintained that little boy's voice that I was used to hearing while expanding to demonstrate growth. You have to be a really skilled actor to carry on that same cadence and tone and the same like pauses from a character that you maybe didn't voice before. So kudos to whoever that voice actor is. So much description, it's immersive, storytelling is peak. Even the little side characters have good personalities that make them stand. See, you can tell I always like get excited and jot down these notes on my phone. Make them stand out in their or on their own as individuals, even when they don't have a part to play. Ephraim with the shopkeeper describing that Omnivore 540, like that was a really good example. Lyria's talking to some red workers on the street and like all of them had distinct characters. So he does a really good job with like Characters who don't matter feel alive and they feel like a part of the world. When Darrow's POV comes, I'm obsessed with the voice actor that that does Darrow. I'm obsessed with Darrow in general. He's the MC. Like, I love him. I'm Team Darrow. This is the first time I've ever doubted Darrow as a leader. And if it's not implied, which it should be if you've seen any of the other Plan With Me, but like sometimes there's spoilers in my cozy book tracker review. Anytime I'm in the library talking about books, unless I'm explicitly trying not to give spoilers, I'm literally giving you from June what were the thoughts, what were my notes. So there's probably going to be some spoilers for some books. Maybe I'll put like a disclaimer early, but like disclaimer now in case it's not implied. There may or may not be spoilers as I go through the books that I've read. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever doubted Darrow and questioned his leadership. LOL, as if I'm literally a follower in the Reaper's army. Obsessed with Severo. Yes, ugh, Severo. He's so grimy. Spoiler, by the way. Love that he's actually a good father and better at it than Darrow. Severo's one of my favorite characters. He's so gross and grimy. The dude who voices him is also fantastic. I'm so triggered by the Karen. Oh yeah, no, dude. I was about to put the book down. The Karen who lied, which her name's not really Karen, but if you know what a Karen is. So the Karen who lied about Lyria, even the word choice comply. What was the point? I need to see the payoff, and I'm 94% of the way through part 1. She meets Philippe, ? She could have done that any which way. And then I think Lyria is very pretty. Yeah, no, this to me, essentially the experience was if you're Black in America and you deal with a cop. I won't say a ton about the scene because I need other people to read it and give me their thoughts, but I was very triggered by that scene. And then when it was all said and done, she meets a character who, becomes important later. Now I know that since I'm reading future books, but I stand by this, which is I didn't need that triggering scene for Lyria to meet Philippe. You could have had Lyria meet Philippe in any other circumstance. And I get it, right? Because he's trying to show you what the world on the surface is like now. I get it. There's some world building purpose behind it. But when I tell you, oh my God, I was so triggered. I was getting anxiety and my chest was all tight. Driving while Black, just being Black in America. I was triggered. So that's the one thing I will say. If I could delete it, remove it from the saga, I would, because I did not like that scene at all. So the June reads, just to keep myself organized and on track, we've got Legend, which we yapped about, Little Thieves, and Iron Gold. Then, as y'all know, my tolerance for spicy books depends on ovulation. I found Butcher and Blackbird when I was ovulating, and I really like it. I really like it. If you are a person who menstruates and you're like tracking your cycle, I find it hilarious that I could come into my book tracker and like track my cycle. I skimmed Leather and Lark, which is the second book in the trilogy. It was okay, but I'm not going to put it in a row. Even though I read it beginning to end, I'm not going to put it as a line item in my book tracker that I read it because I don't really feel like I committed to it 100% with my attention, you know? I read the whole thing, or pretty much the whole thing. Joe Arden's voice, I was reading up on him. I don't know this man. I've never listened to anything with this man before. But his voice is very nice. The ear candy of an Irishman meets the deep timbre of a manly man. Smooth and seductive, husky, emotional. And then I said, but is he a creep? IRL, because I'm not sure. Thumbs down for any and all allegations that are true. Yeah, duh. Sloan is the only person in the world who can look at my monster and find a friend. I was like bawling my eyes out. That's a fantastic line. The mains have insane chemistry and great banter. Their growing friendship and obvious attraction and internal dialogue and external actions is a great balance without taking away from the pace of the plot. That's a skill I want to develop. So kudos to this author. Who's the author? Brynne Weaver, kudos to her because it's hard to do that. In audio, it bothered me to hear a reaction from the actor and then have it described too. So yeah, example, Joe Arden laughs and then says, I laugh. And I personally, as a listener, I don't need both. If the voice actor's gonna laugh, just let them laugh. I'm sure in the book, the text says, I laughed. But I don't need both of those things. Either as the voice actor laugh to fill in the space, or just say, I laughed. And then we moved on to eating toenails for dinner. Or like, give me an audible laugh and then say, and then we moved on to eating. Right? Like, that was my gripe with this one. He falls first for sure, which is super cute. His nickname for her, Blackbird, is hot. Yeah, no, they're hot. They're spicy. They have great chemistry. Love how he noticed how flighty she is and observant and how he wants to tread carefully so as not to spook her, even though he wants more than their friendship. You know what they say, Blackbird? It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. Again, like another just fantastic sentence, fantastic line. So that was Butcher and Blackbird. Then Red Painted Devils by Margaret Owen, which is the second book. And I think it's a trilogy. The premise of the first book, literally on Libby, that's where I found it, locked me in hard. Go out there and just like read the back of the book and you will see what I'm talking about. It's so intriguing. And I do think, even though I was kind of lost at some point, there is that payoff in book one. I kind of didn't like it, but I kind of loved it. But like, I wouldn't read it again, sort of a thing. Whatever she was trying to execute based on the promise of the premise, she did it. Book two, over it. This was definitely not as good as the first book. She had so much potential and could have really played up the love story with the junior prefect. But there was just too much going on in the story to get invested in any one thing. There's too many threads and it wants to do too much. And we get it. Vanya thinks she's unlovable. Her internal dialogue was really tiring after a while. I don't need every other page to be like, oh no, nobody loves me. Woe is me. Like, I get it. We're trying to get their emotional wound on the page, but it was really on the nose and overdone and way too frequent for me. I don't think I'm going to read the third book, and that's okay. I only read 3 books in July. I'm a little bit behind the curve as compared to June, where I read 4. Last book in July was a self-help book. It really spoke to my spirit. Would recommend it 100%. For what it was, I gave it 4 stars. The book is called You Are Not Behind, Building a Life You Love Without Having Everything You Want. At this big age, 30 going on 90, feel this so hard, deep to my core. So the title got me in, and then I really liked the book. I feel like God helped her write it, or like God was speaking to me through the book in terms of the natural, normal things that we think about. And I know I'm not alone in that. About feeling behind or worrying that you're behind and watching other people pass you by and get things that you've prayed for. And like, why is God answering all of his prayers and none of mine? It's a very, very good memoir-ish take. Maybe it's a memoir and not a self-help. Somebody tell me what the difference is. I'll put both because I felt like it was helpful. Isn't that what self-help is? I read that in 11 days in mid-July to carry me to the end of the month. I didn't give it 5 stars. So that's all of the June, July books. And now we are caught up on the book tracker and we can chat through August. I recently finished Project Hail Mary. You can come for me in the comments. Me and my best friend, and then me and my best friend and my dad. We yapped for an hour about this book and why I didn't like it. I put some notes. I know that it's popular right now because the movie with Ryan Gosling came out. Project Hail Mary was on my master list, like my life TBR list. Eventually, when I get a lot of subscribers and people who are bookish like me and want to yap, I have a TBR jar. Y'all would pick the book that I'm reading. A book my dad keeps recommending to me over and over for the last like decade, Project Hail Mary and Mr. Mercedes. I just think that that book is not for me. Too much cursing. I don't like the voice of the character. That book was not written for me. So I know that this book is mad popular. I would love some chats, some yaps, some discourse. I gave it 3 stars. 2 days ago, I finished this book. Here are my notes. This was such a bad book. Could have been slashed by a third. What I mean by that is I spent too long inside Reese's head, especially in the first half of the book. You could have slashed that. Now, I'm sure there are people that would disagree with me, my friend included, but personally, I've been spending way too long because it's a single POV. It's in first person. And for a while there, which I don't think this is a spoiler, the man is the only man in the ship. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was just too much of Reese. Okay. Things came too easily to him. Rocky, I felt like only served as a convenient plot device. I stand by this so hard. Okay. Rocky's a secondary character. He essentially like brings life to the book because Reese is all on his own. Anytime there's a problem where he'd be like, I can't make it back, blah, 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 blah. Rocky'd be like, oh, but I have 1,000,000 tons of astrophage on my ship I can give to you. Problem solved. Or Reese would be like, I can't eat your feed because it has heavy metals and it could poison me and I could die. Rocky goes, yeah, but if you eat the other thing, you'll be fine. Oh my God, problem solved. Between the two of them, they had the right answers all the time. That's what I mean where it says things came too easily. I don't think Rocky really added anything to the story other than people are getting tired of just listening to Reese. So let's introduce a character. And there's flashbacks and stuff too. So it's not 100% just him on the ship. But I feel like that's why Rocky was added. And I felt like Rocky was a very convenient plot device. Rocky always had the right answers. Rocky was never wrong. And that irked me. That bothered me. The main character never really struggled at all. And if he did, it didn't land with any tension or stakes. Even when the author tried to put in some roadblocks, it didn't land for me. Because it was so minor and then they so quickly solved the thing that I was like, oh, what's the point of making it challenging for them if they're just gonna like breathe and then the thing is solved? It didn't hit me emotionally. Big spoiler if you haven't read it. What I think I might do if I have the time and the energy is maybe I will timestamp this section specifically by book. So if it's a book that you want to read and you don't want spoilers, you can skip that part of the Cozy Book Tracker. Yep. in the plan with me if I have the energy. I'm not making a commitment. I'm not making no promises. But okay, big spoiler. It didn't hit me emotionally when Reese went back for Rocky because I was not emotionally invested at all in Reese. It should land as an epic character growth moment, but it just falls flat. There's a point in the book where Reese has to make a decision on if he wants to go forth and save the planet or go back and save his friend, and he chooses to go back and save his friend. And you can tell in that internal dialogue that this is supposed to be an internal struggle, and he's really supposed to be weighing with the decision. It fell so flat. It fell so flat. I can't even tell you, sitting here as a writer, who is Reese at the beginning of the story, what is his character arc, and who is he at the end of the story. I can't even tell you because I don't know. I don't think that like his character was developed at all. I feel like the book was about science. And I told my friend, I was like, I like science. I love science. I didn't really do so well in school with science, but I love science. The fact that this could be a real thing, the fact that astrophage, maybe it's real, I don't know, I have to look it up, but detail, telling us what's happening to the sun, when they find something to solve the problem, here's all the dangers, here's what's going to happen to the planet in 30 years. There are other life forms out there besides us on Earth, which aliens are real. The science was there. And I almost didn't want it to be like an adventure. Or anyway, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't that great. Writing was average. Yeah, see, I just jumped ahead on my notes. Sorry. Writing was average, but I really liked all the scientific explanations. By the end, Reese goes to live on Rocky's planet and becomes a teacher, and he's like a teacher on Earth in like real life. And so that was a cute tie. And like they're friends at the end. And then I just said, maybe I'll like the movie better, which my friend said maybe I would. I do owe her a call because I need to tell her that I still don't like this book. 3 stars feels apt. I just think it was overhyped. I will add that to my notes. I do feel like it was overhyped. Leave comments because I would love some discourse about this. I know that I'm not the only person on the planet who doesn't like this book, okay? But I also know that there's a crap ton of people who love this book. It reminds me of Inheritance Game. There is a whole cult following for that. I just sold my hardback books on Vinted because I didn't like it. There were so many things wrong with the Inheritance Games that I did not like the book, didn't like the story, didn't really like the characters, and I'm not in the camp of people that are obsessed with that book, but there is a camp of people that are obsessed. That's how I feel about Project Hail Mary. Or people are just reading Project Hail Mary because there's a movie coming out, or they're just reading it because it's popular on Book Talk, TikTok. As we know, TikTok is an unreliable narrator. So I don't really trust anything that's hyped. I'm glad I read it. My dad's been literally before the movie, before the hype, like my dad read this book. I would love to add a category in my book tracker for when the book was actually published. Whenever this is published, my dad ate it up, loved it, recommended it. So I was in the camp of people that knew about this book before the trends and before it got popular and stuff. And still, I didn't love it. I really pushed myself 6 days flat because I wanted to watch the movie and see if I liked it better. So that's where we are. Reading now, and let's actually update this a tad. And actually, you know what? Let's just go here. I love the gallery view way better. So the books for June, July, August we talked about, and they are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see all of them in the column here. What am I reading right now? It is August 14th at the time that I'm filming this. So hey to my past self from yesterday. I know I'm sleeping on Pendragon, but it's really just because I'm sleeping. This, as y'all know, as I've said in prior Plan With Me's, is my nighttime read. I think for Jordan as a middle schooler when I read these, and I'm talking like 10, 11, 12, I thought they were so good. Now that I'm an adult, and I'd be super curious if your reading style changes as you grow as a human, which I guess that's an obvious question and it probably does, but I don't think the writing is that good. Did I leave any notes yet? Sometimes I leave notes, y'all. Sometimes I don't. Yeah, no notes. The gist is I loved this whole saga when I was younger and I wanted to give it a try. If you want to know why, you can watch previous Plan With Me's. I'm like 94% of the way almost done, and I think I already owned books 1 through 6 on my Kindle. Dark Age, we talked about. I'm continuing my love for the saga. I am 79% of the way in. I am fiercely looking at my Spotify. So when my listening hours renew, I can jump back in. We talked about Prodigy. I'm 31% of the way in, and it's basically a placeholder book. And then for all of y'all who watched the last 2 writing videos that I did, I started reading this book called Page 1 to Done by Jessica Brody. I got it in paperback. Maybe at the end of the year, I'll do some stats, but I think I want like 5% of the books I read to be real books, maybe 10. That seems like a stretch. Anyway, page 1 to done. It's all about the craft of writing. Do your own research, read the back of the book, look it up. But premise is essentially like if you're drafting a novel, or if typically they call it slow drafting, or putting our author hat on for a second, if writing a book takes you a really long time, if it takes you like a year or two to finish a book, if you've been working on a book for the last 5 years, I'm staring at myself for my 72,000 word fantasy that I literally poured my soul into for 5 years, and now I'm starting all over again, but it's fine. The premise is if it takes you a really long time to write a book, start to finish, page 1 to done, can help you fast draft your novel and get that book done, start to finish in 30 days. She does a great job explaining that the 30 days is a hook, if you will, to draw people in. Are there people that do that? Sure. Are there people that take more than that? Sure. But the outcome for all of these people is that by using her method, it takes them way less time than it used to finish. That's essentially the premise of the book. It's been a while since I've read a craft book, a writing book. I just gave it these genres. Somebody tell me what this genre actually is. But because I'm like, is self-help? Is this like a helpy book? I'll add this in the notes while I'm in here. Let us bulleted bullet, and I'll scroll up as far as I can. It feels way too salesy. I feel right now about page 1 to done. Do you want me to take out the cozy book tracker from the plan and make these their own separate? Right now, I'm going to mash it all together because we're doing a mid-year reset and we've got a lot to catch up on, including the June and July reads and where I am given that we're already 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks into August. So I know that this is pretty yappy right now because we're getting caught up and I haven't seen you in a minute. But for future plan with me's, if you're like, I don't plan out my books, I don't care about what you're reading, what books you finish in what time frame, let me know. Seriously, I won't be offended. If you would rather have this be its own video so it can reach the audience of people who do care about my bookish opinions, peace. I have no hard feelings because I would film it anyway. It's just a matter of if I want to publish it as its own thing, so no skin off my back. I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts. My up next, I went through my Libby and I did a clean out because I had a lot of books that were suspended or on hold and I just needed to organize my Libby. There are 3 books currently on my Libby that I have suspended, which if you don't use Libby, would recommend. If you know one off the top of your head, or if you're using one right now that you love, maybe more than Libby, let me know. Given that it's already August, that's already 4 books. I'm not going to get to every one of the books on my 2026 TBR. Since we're at the mid-year, a way that I'm thinking about my reading goals for the mid-year reset is what's realistic. So in the same way that I'm trying to realistically approach my broader goals and my supporting actions, how can I realistically approach my TBR? In Libby, because these books are available to me essentially instantly, and I let you suspend books for like up to a year. And I've got 322 days left to unsuspend this, 330 for this, 320 for this. And these 2, Blood Over Brighthaven and Immortal Dark, are 2 that one of my best friends have read and recommended. This, I just listened to a clip, like a preview on Libby, and I love the voice acting. I think it might be fun. It might be a good palate cleanser or a good mood lifter, depending on how Dark Age ends. If I think about August, we've got these. Let's assume some of these bleed into September. We've got September. Oh my goodness, why can't I remember months? Okay, wait, do I have any brain cells? September, October, November, and December. That's 4 months. Read a book a month and carry me to the end of the year. And I can come up here and maybe I'll have read 26 books. That would be kind of cute, actually. That's how I want to approach it at mid-year, as opposed to what I've normally been doing, adding things to the TBR, adding things to the tracker. There's no rhyme or reason. This was also recommended to me, but I need to wait for it. So I think I'm going to put it down here because I actually want to read Daggermouth this year. And then we've talked about the DNF column. I'm pretty proud of myself, actually, because there's too many books to read for me to get stuck on a book that I don't like. Obviously, there are exceptions. I didn't stop Project Hail Mary in the first half just because I didn't really like it. I finished it till the end because I wanted to. I didn't stop Inheritance Games, even though I didn't really like it. The ending was really anticlimactic. The point is, sometimes I don't finish books. My growth as a reader really shows. The fact that there's a DNF column to begin with, the fact that I started these books and chose to put them down, despite that I was halfway through. Sometimes the decision to DNF comes down to percentage. If I'm 72% of the way through a book, I might as well finish it. If I'm less than 50% of the way through a book and I know I don't like it and I don't care to finish it, I don't care to have an opinion. I finished Inheritance Games because I wanted to see how it ended. And I know that it's very trendy, very popular. I want to have an opinion. This is kind of how I approach like life and my 9 to 5 and stuff. It's important, I think, to have a POV. to have a perspective. Not because you want to be the smartest person in the room or you want to be the expert or whatever, but it's important to have your own perspective, your own opinions, not the opinions that are fed to you by chat. So I finished Inheritance Games. I finished Project Hail Mary because in conversations with my dad and my friend and with y'all, I can tell you why I didn't like it. And you can trust my opinion because I finished the book. If I didn't finish the book, I can't really talk because maybe the things that I don't like would have changed by the end of the book and my opinion would have changed. I finished Project Hail Mary. I'm like so stuck on this because I finished it 48 hours ago, okay? I finished that book even though I didn't really like it. And as you see, I have thoughts. I have a perspective on the book. Maybe you don't share that perspective, and that's okay. Just be respectful in the comments. Me and my dad were talking about it because he was like, oh my God, I love this book. And I was like, it's okay for you and me to not have the same taste. He loved Mr. Mercedes, and I like refused to pick it back up. I've tried like 3 times, literally. And that was a book that was not written for Jordan. It's okay. I love yapping about books and listening to other people talk about books. Here for the yaps. Create a DNF column for yourself, especially now that we're at mid-year. If there's a book you're reading right now that you're not really into, you're less than 50% of the way through it, put it down and go discover something else that you might love. I think that's everything for the Cozy Book Tracker. Now we can move on to the content creation schedule. This format has been working very well for me. I have not changed it since I made it. I did do a bit of cleanup right before this because I just filmed the Cozy Book Tracker and I need that to load into script. So while that was loading, I did some cleanup here. To me, personally, it belongs in the plan with me. But if you're sitting there like, yo, I would only watch this if it was a separate video from the plan with me, let me know. Sometimes when I have the same thing up or I do the same thing over and over again, I can glaze over stuff. So just changing the colors of these so I can make sure I'm looking at all this with a fresh eye. Here's the content schedule for this month. As of mid-month, this is already posted and I'm so excited. Maybe they'll never see it, but shout out to whoever commented on my initial writing video when I talk about switching from Scrivener to ellipsis because it brings me so much joy and it makes me so happy when y'all are like, oh, I want to see that. Show me this thing. Can we dive into this? I would love content on I love that kind of stuff because we're in it together. We're a community, you know? If only one person enjoys it, that's cool. It's been a minute since we've done a plan with me together. But in case you're new here, I typically do what I call a strategy audit before I make a video. These are my channel's content pillars. I yap about so many things. I have too many hobbies. I want to help people with different things. And I needed some content pillars to ground my channel. But now when I make content, I can make content from the lens of one or more of these pillars. So if you're somebody who really feels behind in life and you don't know where to start, you feel like your entire life is chaos everywhere you look and you want to get your life together. You want a cozy, more intentional, soft life, but you don't know how to build it. That could be a reason that you come and stay for my channel. If you want to cultivate a guilt-free mentality when it comes to your hobbies, you feel guilty for resting, for not being productive because you put down a hobby and you haven't touched it in a minute, but that's the stage that you're in right now. My content is for you. If you feel like your life is kind of stable, but you want to live a more intentional life. You want to live a slower life. You want a calm, intentional life, but don't know how to create it, cultivate it. My channel, this community is for you. This stage 1, your life is real chaotic. You just want some stability. Once you have that stability, you want something that's more intentional. Once you've got that life that feels intentional to you, how can you add whimsy, add little joys, add stuff to your life to make it feel more joyful and more you and more cozy? If you are at any stage in the journey for these 3 pillars, my channel is for you. I feel like cultivating a guilt-free mentality is the undercurrent in the journey. Go check out my summer vlog. It's like 3 minutes where I was mad that summer wasn't going my way. And so I tried to add some whimsy. Maybe it will inspire you to add whimsy to your life as well. So that's an example of a video that falls into this pillar. Whenever I have a video idea, does it fit in one or more of the content pillars? We talked a bit before about me creating content for me, which I would say is the first 12 months of my YouTube journey. If you're interested in how that went, or you want to start a channel or know what it's like to be a beginner with no experience, no skills, no following, I have a playlist on my channel called the YouTube Experiment, so you can go check that out after this. So that to me is creating content for myself. I'm learning, I'm a noob, I need to practice. That's the first 12 months. Now I'm in year 2. So maybe I should be creating more content so that my channel will grow. Now, why that's mad critical right now on August 14th, 2026 is because YouTube just released this big announcement. I'm not going to get into it. There's a lot of discourse online to get monetized. I need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So if you are chilling on my channel, watching my content, you like what you see, but you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It matters a lot. For future, the stats to get into the YouTube partner program are going to be 8,000 watch hours. And I don't know how many subscribers because I got stuck on the 8,000. They've doubled the amount of watch hours that we're going to need in order to start getting paid for YouTube. I do not get paid for this. I do this in my downtime in between my 9 to 5 and my hobbies. This is something I do because I want to. I think it's fun and I want to make stuff for y'all. If I want to get paid for that after February 2027, I need to have 8,000. I'm like exhausted just thinking about it because to hit the 4,000 watch hours is already really hard as a normal person. Again, go into the YouTube experiment playlist to get more of my thoughts here with impacting the integrity of my channel and my content pillars and what I want to create without kind of like ditching all of this in favor of what's really, really trendy just so I can get views and watch hours. That's not something I want to do. We talked a bit before about maybe I should just pick a thing and narrow it all the way down. I've narrowed it down to cozy lifestyle and that's the niche and I've got these pillars, but maybe I should just talk about productivity from now until the end of my days until I can get my watch hours up. I don't really want to do that. I don't think you guys want me to do that either. So point is, I need to be creating more content that will grow my watch hours and grow my subscriber counts so that I can eventually get paid for making content. It's just going to be that much harder come February 2027, just based on the new rules and requirements that YouTube released on their YouTube partner program. You are the consumer of the content. All of your behaviors feeds into how I'm going to grow my channel and how I'm going to get to the 4,000 watch hours, which pray for me, y'all, because I would love to do that by February 1st of next year. There are different content types. Before I film a video, I figure out what content type is, and this one falls into both. Because if you're a person whose internal monologue sounds something like this: I want to go on solo dates, but I get anxious when I'm alone in public. Jordan, I don't know what activities are actually doable because I'm socially anxious. I don't want to be out of my house, but what about the stuff that sounds good on paper, but it just feels really terrible? I need some help with that. I have this whole Pinterest board of solo dates that I want to go, but I'm kind of nervous. Can you do it for me? All of that, all of those thoughts are the target audience for this piece of content. If you've thought something similar, watch my video when it comes out in a couple of days because this will address some of that. When you think about the audience of the content that you're creating, this audience is, I actually do 9 solo dates. Who is this video for? This video is for socially anxious people who want to do things alone but feel self-conscious. And then I added a what, which is honest ranked reviews of 9 real solo dates with my personal anxiety rating. These 2 elements help me. If I can't sit here and tell you what my content is about or what the video is about and who it's for, I don't really think there's a purpose. Forget the strategy audit. Forget my content pillars. I could post a vlog of my summer just for me. Or if I was getting married and I wanted to have a wedding vlog, I don't know, do I want to share that with my community on YouTube? Yeah. But sometimes you just create stuff for yourself. Those might be examples where this video is for me and you. The basics of content creation, in my opinion, is knowing who the video is for and what the video is about. What's the plot? Because I want to be here for it. Other elements when I plan a video are I put title ideas. I think I ended up with this title, but out of all the ones of brainstorming, I think it's this and this ended up being good contenders. When I do text overlays on my thumbnails, the imaging that you're seeing, I don't think I need to explain what a thumbnail is. It's like the cover photo for the video. These are examples of things that I thought I could put in text and thumbnail photo ideas. Honestly, this becomes a moot point. The longer I create content, I know there's a school of thought where you should always think about your thumbnail first. And if you don't know what your thumbnail is going to be, you shouldn't make the video. That's real advice. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. That's real advice out there that people give and that people follow and that works for some people. It doesn't really work for me. I typically film something, pause the video, and take screenshots of me in any position in the video that would make a good thumbnail. For example, in the video I'm filming right now, I was sitting on the steps to film my intro and my outro. There's some cute poses of me on the steps in my fit that would make for a good thumbnail, even if I used the magic grab feature in Canva and put me on top of something else in the thumbnail. So I don't give a lot of thought into the imagery of the thumbnail before I post or create something. That's a personal style thing. Some people really do need to start with their thumbnail, and I think that's awesome. Whatever works for you works for me. For future content, y'all might not see as much of this because it's not as relevant for me. And I drafted a script. People think voiceovers are so easy. Sidebar. The voiceover for this video took me a really long time. Just put the script in front of you, Jordan, and read it. But like to time it to the thing on the screen. Did I stick to this 100%? No, because that's not the point of a script. The point of a script is directionally, what do you want to say? What are your notes? And I can riff off of that in the video. What else is on here? I made a must-have B-roll section when I was thinking and planning out this video, which I didn't end up doing everything on here. And I made a table on my rankings for the dates. At the time that I made this, I only had 8, but in the final video, I had 9. So that's a little bit around content. I know people use different systems out there like Rella and different platforms specifically for content creation. Maybe when the channel gets bigger and more complex and I'm juggling more things or I want to post more frequently, that's something I'll consider using. For right now, Notion is where it's at. If we jump back to the content schedule, I obviously was feeling some type of way because I thought I was going to do a June plan with me. Lies! I thought I was going to get back into it in July. You got jokes? Like, this is how I talk to myself sometimes. I didn't end up doing this. But as you know, we are currently, it's very filming for August mid-year. I've done enough plan with me. It's like 5 months. I know, generally speaking, what the flow is. I've got my transition slides. I try to make it consistent. Little sound effects or images that make you feel like you're coming back to hang out with me specifically. This is an example of the outro. I had to look at my iPad when I filmed the outro of this video and read it a sentence at a time because I'm not going to memorize this. It's genuine. It's not that the things that I script out and write are not genuine or I'm being fake or whatever. I think scripting for me is, again, just directionally. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. For the outro, this feels really good for me in terms of an outro for the Plan With Me's. The messaging is the same. I want my outro to be the same for all the Plan With Me's, but I haven't memorized it. So don't come for me. I could actually move this up a tad. I just watched Jenna Hong's Plan With Me. I love her content. I love her stuff. Let's add a divider here. I want to give credit where credit is due. She left a comment on her most recent Plan With Me mid-year reset that says something like, if not these exact words, it's been a minute, but we are so back. And I was like, same. As a consumer of somebody else's reset, I'm like, I feel you, girl. As a creator of that same or similar content, I'm like, that's a cute comment that I could put on this video. So we'll see if I end up using it. But if you see stuff like that, I try to remember to give credit where credit is due. I don't always remember, so apologies, but I try where I can. If you see this comment either in my community post or in the pinned comments, I got that idea from Jen Hong. Other things I'm thinking about, we skipped summer. There's still time to lock in. And then just the general mid-year Plan With Me. As you're scrolling amidst the tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube, you can see really big on the thumbnail, mid-year reset. What else? I haven't landed on a title at 4:40 p.m. on August 14th, and actually, but somewhere between summer and feeling like myself. And this is another example of I just watched somebody else's video where I think she had moved into a new apartment, and the title of her video was somewhere between summer and feeling like myself. Put in quotes. That's a cute title. The vibes and the content of our videos respectively are different, but I like that as a video title, so I might do an A/B test for that. Other title ideas I was thinking, there's still time to lock in on your goals, and I feel so lost, can we get back to playing, please? Maybe if I borrow things from others, I'll put them in quotes so that I know that wasn't all me. I am subscribed to this newsletter called Novel Smithy that literally had this in the intro, and I was like, that's applicable for my YouTube video. I could have used as a script for the intro for this specific video. It says, I don't know what it is, but August has a way of eating your calendar. Between end of summer vacations, camp pickups, or that cookout I said yes to 3 weeks ago and forgot about until yesterday. Most of our goals end up sitting patiently in a drawer waiting for fall. The content of his newsletter is writing related or editing related, and so he goes on to do the newsletter. Maybe it's applicable to you and how you're feeling, and it would make a great intro. So that's why I added it into the intro ideas. It's been months since a plan with me, but we are so again, shamelessly borrowing from somebody else who said something similar. It is very rare that you find something, even in storytelling, putting my author hat back on is very rare these days that you find, even music. Think about how many samples there are in some of your favorite songs. It's very rare that you find stuff that is 100% OG original, no influences, no inspos, whatever. Maybe I'll use that as the pin comment instead of it's been a minute. I don't know. I'm going to check off the content counter because This is the last thing that I need to film before I get out of here. The next video in the August content schedule is this one that we're filming, Meta, and also I met a man at the tailor. So there's a vlog, clippy clips out there of my summer, and I want to talk a lot more about my style. I feel like I'm a broken record, but I'm discovering my style this year, figuring out what it looks like, and also decluttering my closet, which y'all know. I kind of want to go for the you don't need new clothes or you don't need more clothes, you need a tailor as the title. Y'all have seen this before, but in case you're new, I broke down my content into 8 different stages from brainstorming all the way to my community post. For every video, I've got a status because this video is up 8 out of 8. My circle is filled. That indicates that I'm done with this video. I just don't remember if I've already pinned a comment. So I need to go back and make sure that's done. The 9 solo dates that I ranked on my anxiety scale, pretty sure it's already scheduled. It's not up yet as of 4:45 on August 14th, so I can't comment on it yet. I'm pretty sure I did a community post. So honestly, this is 7 out of 8, but we're gonna keep it filled in. Plan with me. Once I hang up. Y'all, this is not FaceTime. Once I'm done walking you through my content schedule, I will be done filming everything that I need to film to put together the mid-year reset video. I have not started to edit it. It's so much editing, you guys. I don't know if they feel easeful to y'all, which hopefully they do. But as the person creating it and filming it, it is hours and hours and hours and hours. This video right now that I'm filming is already 26 minutes and 30 seconds. And right before this, I filmed my cozy book tracker, and that's like 53 minutes. I also have the intro outro that I filmed yesterday, all the B-roll I filmed yesterday, my paper planning tour, the Notion planning I did for August. It's so much content. I am not a person at this point in time who posts the plan with me's on the first of the month because I can't get it together, y'all. I would rather take my time, edit the way I want to edit, and push out the plan with me with my style on August 21st, than scramble to do it like everybody else just to get you that video. Let me look at this again. See, this is why the status part is helpful. This one's definitely scheduled, which means I'm a week ahead of the content schedule. So I actually can take a week to edit this video that you're watching. This is all just content ideas in the queue. I do want to do an empty tour for you in December, like OG 2013, 2016 YouTube empties. This might be a yap. Right now it's Sunday Rambles, but you can see there's nothing in here because it's audio only. I might be approaching Sunday Rambles differently. Vanessa Lau, she just dropped a video like 2 seconds before I started filming, calls it Vanessa Yaps. So that playlist might get some revamping in the fall. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. That's everything in the content ideas or everything that I'm going to go through anyways because I gotta bounce. But I love you guys so much, and let's cut to the outro. If you found this plan with me helpful, share with a friend. It's okay to feel a little bit anxious about checking in on your goals. Maybe you're not where you thought you would be at this point in the year. But as I always say, it is never too late to lock in your goals. If you didn't make New Year's resolutions, 2026 intentions, or put together any goals for the year, start now. It is never too late to plan out your goals and set yourself up for success. If you're craving a softer, more intentional, cozy life, but aren't sure how to build it, these monthly resets are a tool you can keep coming back to over and over again. On this channel, I share hobbies, vlogs, productivity tips, and the everyday things that help you build a life you don't need a vacation from. If this video was helpful, hit subscribe and share with a friend. Leave a comment down below. What is one thing that you want to accomplish in the second half of 2026? Until next time, keep it cozy.